immediately kind of punished for having Zaggoth Triome, I guess. Yeah, I can do the deck tech. Thank you for your generosity. Let's put back the Fury. Yeah, we're also only on 22 lands. Obviously, we also have 4 Traverse, 4 Wrenn and 6, but I agree the Spiral's like not super appealing because of those reasons. Is this not a Fires of Invention deck? I guess Fires is kind of weird with binding, but you can spend mana on it. Yeah, I guess my first thought here is like, how is this not a Fires of Invention deck? Like, I feel like playing Spiral over Caryatid. Keep shuffle that away. It's probably the first thing I do to play the Fires, but I guess what are we cutting for the Fires? Maybe the Escape to the Wilds? Maybe the Escape to the Wilds are fine instead. But like Wandering Mind, also like digging for Fires is really exciting to me. So we're probably up against Rhinos here. I think I'm just playing this tapped though. Definitely a hard deck to grasp. You know, put my brain around. I'm not sure how good binding is either. It's obviously good when you draw Nylea's Presence. I'm not sure how often you're drawing Nylea's Presence. Presence is also like a generally pretty weak card. A card that I am not thrilled about including in most of my modern decks. Or sorry, most of my Pioneer decks. Oh, you already have the Spiral. I missed that there are Spirals in here already. Okay, so maybe you cut the Caryatids? Maybe you're cutting Caryatids for Fires to make room? Fires plus Escape is kind of an awkward tension. It's also really weird to me, though, to see Kinrith in a deck without Fires of Invention. It's really weird to see, like, one random Coma. I feel like this list, like, just so blatantly to me looks like its biggest issue is that it seems like it has just a horrible mono green matchup, and I'm not sure what we can do to rectify that, but it definitely seems to be like the biggest issue. I think I just hand another iteration, XL Traverse, play Traverse. Weird to not draw any fetch lands. I think I just get a mountain. Can I have this up for like a Ragavan? I don't know what they're doing. They're obviously up to no good though. Yeah, I feel like this deck does seem more to me than like a build that's more focused on Fires, a build that's more focused on Enigmatic Incarnation. I think this kind of feels like this looks like a very like kind of early Pioneer draft that like I'm gonna build a Pioneer deck, but without like necessarily this is a list that seems weak to like Heroic, seems weak to Mono Blue, seems weak to Mono Green. Probably is good against like exactly Rakdos as far as metagame decks go, but you can be a deck that's good against Rakdos without losing so many percentage points in other matchups. I don't like these random Comas with nowhere to tutor them up. I don't like Kinrith in a deck that's not playing Fires. I think that this deck is, to me, looks like it's going to need like some kind of like nice flashy combo finish or a way to go over the top of strategies. Oh, is Blue Moon? Well, I guess against Blue Moon, hitting exactly Forest Plains. How have I not found a fetch land? I found all my basics before our first fetch land. What a weird game. Just the weirdest game. Kind of hoping they counter this for Delirium. And I will also say this, for deck techs like this, these deck techs that are like 4-color Yorion piles, that's just like a pile of good cards. This is like one of the hardest. No, they Field of Ruin. I drew all my basics. This is the I can't remember the last time I played a game like this. Oh, I should probably just cast this Fury though, huh? Just the old Field of Ruin Blood Moon deck too. Usually a pretty bad combo. Like these kind of like this is a 4-color Yorion deck and Pioneer where you have access to just like all I don't have 1 mana binding up. Okay, I'm done with this game, huh? It's a hard deck hard kind of deck to do a deck tech for, if that makes sense. It's just like all over the place. You can go any number of directions. I can tell you why I don't like the directions you're going in, but it's hard for me to do like too much more than that. Okay, I think this is our plan. Dress Down's pretty good against Breach. Could play Surgery. They're playing Iteration. I don't think I want like all of these heats. Seems fine. What a game. Iteration into both of the other basics. Oh man. Is Breach a playable card in Modern? I mean, I don't know. There's worse things to do than throwing an Emrakul at somebody. But it's also probably not the best thing to be doing either. I like to see your approach on 4-color and Pioneer. I've been kind of working on it lately. I will say, I've been talking about this some. I'm like, my interest in Pioneer has not been like as high as I would like it to be, but it's not that high at the moment. But also, like, I don't think that like there is probably a super good just like 4-color pile in Pioneer. Like, I think that for the most part in Pioneer, because there's like a lack of premium interaction or interaction in general, like I this is maybe a bit weird, but they are playing Blood Moon, so I feel like just prioritizing getting some basics these couple turns is important, especially Plains, which can get Binding. And then I have Delirium Domain once I get to play the Stomping Ground. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know that this kind of deck exists in Pioneer, or at least like exists in like a good playable form, if that makes sense. Like, the 4-color decks don't have very good... I mean, you play Niv Mizzet, but Niv Mizzet does have, like, kind of flashy combo finish with Bring to Light for Valky. I tried to build this deck in Pioneer, and I might still do so. But I ended up wanting to try it in Modern first. Let's go ahead and Flusterstorm this. We have Dress Down as a way to stop their Breach plan. Alright, how does that work? I think Breach should still sacrifice the Emrakul, right? Do you have an interest in trying Pauper? Pauper is very similar, in my opinion, to Legacy for me, where like I'm just like personally not that interested in Pauper, as long as like they just keep like Pauper became a set that's just defined by like master sets, commander products, random mechanics that were not designed for Pauper at all. It is. I think that Pauper. I know that there's like now like a council that's trying to save the format, but I've played Pauper in the past, and Pauper has just like no longer been a deck that I'm super interested in or really interested in at all. Sorry, not deck format. I'm going to Iteration here. I might not be able to get 2 cards, but I want to prioritize getting this basic island this turn. And this is a totally fine exchange for me. Legacy is defined for image too. Yeah, I understand that, but it's also like, at least as far as Legacy goes, Modern Horizons 2 is at least a set that's designed for 1v1 60-player games. You know what I mean? When you compare that to the Commander products that are like super like, you know, not I mean maybe super, but like Minskin Boo is a card that's designed for Commander games, not designed for 1v1 60 card formats. Leovold, True Name Nemesis, a few other examples are cards that are like, you know, in Legacy, not designed for 1v1 60 card formats. And I think that the Legacy suffers for these cards existing in the format. Don't think I would need another untapped blue this turn. Yeah, Monarch 2 for sure, great example. I guess I could have just like not fetched Jack because I'm going to discard anyways. Yeah, Maddening Hex, great example for sure. Again, it's just there's just like tons of cards that are just there's the blue Monarch enchantment too that like mills your opponent's deck like crazy. None of these cards were designed for 60 card 1v1, and these cards are like all like prevalent and popular in Legacy. They're not like the only cards of the format, and Legacy is a powerful format, and you know it's not the end of the world, but for me and like my interest in formats, it makes me like a lot less excited. I think I'm dress downing for a type in the yard here. Yeah, Hull Breacher, good example too. Evil sees like zero play. I mean, like Evil has seen tons and tons of play in Legacy. Where, you know, maybe it doesn't see play right now, but is an example that I feel like fits what I was talking about pretty well. They targeted Counterspell instead of Dispute, which seems to be a mistake. We're just passing here. Been a weird match. Hot take, WotC's bad at designing cards. Ooh, go post that on Reddit and get millions of upvotes. Wow, very brave. Heroic take. Oh, I tapped out a white man. I shouldn't have done that. It's busy bantering, huh? Wow, WotC bad? Take my gold, good sir. WotC bad. 10,000 upvotes. 1 million gold gifts. What a heroic opinion. Yeah, a lot of Emrakul today, Evan. A lot of Emrakul today. Yeah, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. WotC good? I mean, WotC's like a greedy company. They're trying to make as much money as possible. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. WotC, like, unironically, WotC bad, but just like it's just also like such a bland thing to say. Okay, let's keep this put back Bauble, I think. Definitely hand it needs to draw like a fetch land, but I think we have some time in this matchup. Why not Teferi? So I started with Teferi, but it's like kind of high on the curve with Shadow Prophecy. And I really like how like with like this build, your curve gets to be like really low for this archetype, and I've been liking this build a bit more. Obviously, you could play it though. It's not like I'm not bravely declaring this is the best 75, but I trophied. I've been liking it. Profit motive bad. I mean, like, I would say that without getting too derailed, I'd say in a big way. Oh no. In a big way, the profit motives in our world are affecting our society negatively, you know, without becoming the very thing I swear to destroy here. I don't have a swamp. I would get swamp if I had one here. So I can get island for iteration, or I can get plains for future bindings. We'll just do that. But like, yes, like profit motive bad also, but also like, again, you know, drawing the forest kind of nutty, but also like not a very interesting thing to say, and not like a very important thing to say. Just like, wow. Okay. Don't think I'm firing off iteration right here. Still turns off 2 cards in my hand. Turns off the Wrenns also. Dude, what the heck? Void Mirror like literally just stops Bauble, and they cast Void Mirror and it just summons a Bauble to my hand, of course. They also very likely have a counterspell, so let's go Hand Binding bottom. Shadow Prophecy, I guess I just exile the Strand. But not play the Strand. And I think I would prefer for my opponent to like... I try to find a spot to cast this where my opponent's tapping out. Stops Fury. I mean, I sided out my... Why would I bring... I sided out my Furies. If they ever counter this Wrenn. Don't have Boseiju. You have Boseiju, you don't have Delirium. Binding also stops Emrakul from killing me. Could maybe ultimate this Wrenn, right? Hearst is pretty good against me. Not sure how good they are accruing Hearst though. Okay, so now I can go. I probably shouldn't have plussed first. We just wait. But I can protect my Leyline Binding with Flusterstorm. But I could also wait on all of this till I ultimate the Wrenn, but I guess the Wrenn ultimate's worse with the Hearst out there. My opponent's also going to discard, so I think like if they're going to discard and I'm just plussing Wrenn, I'm okay. I'm okay waiting. I don't feel like I'm under like a ton of pressure to do anything. Sean, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate you. So they're playing cost, playing a spell. Binding cost 2. Binding cost 4. Yeah, sorry, 2. Sorry. Binding is reduced by 4. Yeah, people always say Blood Moon is so good against Binding, but Binding is like a good answer to Blood Moon. It usually costs like 2 or 3 against it. Can't believe that this just like resolved though. Get my Zoggoth Triome. How does Wrenn beat Hearst? I mean, I'm not... It doesn't beat Hearst, but I'm going to ultimate the Wrenn and Six, and I'll be able to, like, you know, get some utility out of it. I can go, like, Traverse for Mountain here, and then now I have 2 Flusterstorms up, because I can Flusterstorm again before I get priority if I need to, like, double Flusterstorm something. But my plan is to cast Shadow Prophecy end of turn with double Flusterstorm up. But it does not like explicitly beat the Hearses here. Miss Land Drop. I'm holding the land so that I can have double Flusterstorm up for like the 3rd time. I think I want to take the Emrakul. Feels like an important card to have. I'll just take another Prophecy as well. When it goes to discard, discards Emrakul again. So here's a little trick with, now that I drew the land, here's a little trick with Soul of Windgrace. Soul of Windgrace doesn't actually target. I guess they could just double Hearst in response. Right. But it doesn't target, so they have to Hearst in response to this cast. Probably still okay just to get the threat into play. They target my instants and sorceries instead. Can't they let the Flusterstorm resolve before his spell resolves? Exile Fluster, then cast another counterspell. They could do that, but if they target the Flusterstorm, then I'll just Flusterstorm again. It kind of depends on like what we're fighting over. This has been like one of the weirdest matches I've ever played. Okay, so fetch in response to this, which makes them activate their hearse again. Board getting kind of unmanageable. I guess I could have Shadow Prophecy to response, try to return something. But I do think I'm going to cast Shadow Prophecy here. Probably jump green. Quant with the 10 pack. Thank you so much. If you got a gift from Quant Arion, make sure to say something. Make sure to thank him. If you got anything you want to say, you can. Okay. Not super helpful. I guess I do want the second Emrakul more than like anything else here. Do we know they shouldn't have brought in the Void Mirror? They did bring in the Void Mirror. I don't really know why it's here. So it looks like they're going to cast a Breach end of turn. But I've got double Flusterstorm here, so we're pretty insulated. How many mana? I have 9 lands in play. I'm going to have 10 lands in play next turn. So it depends on what their timing is for these hearses, if I'm going to be able to cast an Emrakul next turn or not. I guess I also might die to a hearse. I don't know how big these are. They're 7 powered. Not going to die yet. One of my friends who is a music composer did my subscription sound and the opening stream morning songs too. Plug my friend. He's got his name is Jalen Monday. He doesn't really update his SoundCloud very often, but there is a link to the SoundCloud in a panel down below. Long match, dude. Long match. Okay, on the play, mulligan. Hand any Wrenn and Six hand is or deck is gonna mulligan pretty well. I think this is also like just a 5-card hand. Well, any 4-card hand with 2 fetches Wrenn and Six is better than this one. Okay, no Wrens. However, the 4-card hand of like just the domain cards. Now that we have Zaggoth Triome, this is not too bad. Relic's pretty good against us. Swamp Relic could be Cabal Coffers. I think I'm just going to be binding the Relic. Wrenn and Six is going to be the draw here. Okay, no. This is a really juicy discard target, so in case they have something like Kroxa or another Relic. Maybe I should bubble them first. Maybe I wouldn't have used the binding. Although the relics are pretty annoying. Probably still have to use the binding. Okay, Wrench Mine specifically is like the only card we get super punished with by using the Bauble there. Feels incredibly bad. The old Mold of 4 against 8 rack. Tony, think of the 8 months. Although this matchup overall has got to be fine. But of all the matchups to mold a 4 in, although I guess a lot of their cards don't do anything now. The deck is full of expressive iterations and shadow prophecies, that kind of stuff. Cool. So I think to avoid anything being discarded, I take Flooded Strand, Leyline Binding, and then I just binding the Relic. Can't binding Omnath, or Turok, obviously. Losing the Omnath kind of stings, but I don't think I can keep it in the hand. It's just too likely to get discarded here. So it looks like they're playing Saga in their deck. Now Fury is a pretty live top deck, thankfully. We also have the ability to traverse for Soul of Windgrace. Okay, can heat the Turok now. Two-turn clock against the factory. Notably, binding doesn't get it. Deck tech for Chronos. Why not wait to binding? Because if I wait to binding, then they can pop the relic for a card and eat my graveyard. So my Omnath is gone. I only play one. Could obviously play two. I guess I'm getting Soul of Windgrace, right? Green, red, black. Certainly true that my opponent could just have a removal spell. However, I think I'm like way more likely to win the game if like this sticks than I am if I'm just gonna be like grab a Boseiju, answer the factory, die to any rack. What is happening? Okay, so you're trying to index and Brainstone so you can manifest Iona or Ugin and then ephemerate that card. Certainly in deep. Certainly in deep. Emrakul costs 8 mana. Yeah, I guess I get Boseiju. Boseiju also makes Wrenn and Six better top deck. Oh no, sorry. Not that this really probably matters actually, but I should have channeled a response because now this gets a counter. So this will matter if I draw Wrenn and Six. Wrenn and Six is not going to be an out to this anymore. Although maybe they just don't fire up the factory. They do fire up the factory. I'll let them attack first, so they lose one more mana. Okay, so my first thought is like, are we're only there's got to be more manifest cards, right? Maybe this is the only like two mana way to manifest something, but this is like the part of your combo that you can get some redundancy to. Okay, well if they name Wrenn and Six, then we don't have to. Okay, they name Soul of Windgrace, which is just the one up in the deck. We're alive though. We're alive. We're looking for Fury or Unholy Heat. This would be an absurd game to win. Oh, and then there's the Wrenn. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, no way that deck does it. Would have been so cool to win a Mold of 4 against 8 rack. Although, have to imagine this matchup is pretty good. There are Saga decks, so I'll leave in the dress downs. Charmaw doesn't seem too bad either because they also have factories. Our whole deck seems pretty good, if I'm going to be honest. I should probably be going down like, I think I just go down 2 Furies for 2 Charmaws. We could play Flusterstorm. I think I'm going to leave the Flusterstorms at home. Okay, so one thing too, like this, like, I feel like you're playing too many interactive cards, like the, like 4 Solitude, 4 Prismatic Ending, 4 Leyline is like a lot of interactive cards for, no, I meant to click keep. I've been doing such a bad job of multitasking this week. Maybe I should have been on the draw also. Can't remember if I like to do that against 8 rack or not. You're playing, I think, too many interactive cards for my liking here. I'd like to see like -4 prismatic endings for like +4 manifest cards, whatever the next best manifest card is. I also don't know that Iona is the best creature, but you should probably be doing a split of like Iona, Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. Ooh, like that draw. Iona, Emrakul, Omniscience potentially. Just more of these. Maybe probably needs you can also play Cloud Shift as like redundancy for your ephemerates too, and just have like a lot of different pieces for this. But I will also say that the idea does not seem very powerful. I don't know if that needs to be said, but it does not seem like we've got a new archetype or anything. Okay, we'll take Leyline Binding for sure. I think I just take Binding, Shadow Prophecy. Discard the Traverse because of the Relic. I know that's like a lot of loose thoughts. I don't know if you're going to get anything better than that. Kind of a lot to wrap your head around there. Take that, Liliana. Too easy. Just take 2 non-3 drops. Okay, so I have to take Fury, Boseiju. Would have loved another Shadow Prophecy, I guess, but we'll take the card advantage. I think Reno's got a lot better with Binding. I do think Reno's got a lot better from Binding. It went from like not putting up many results to putting up a lot of results. It's got 3 cards in their hand. Two for one, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. Over and over again. Why? Dude, people have been boarding in like the most random cards against me today. Oh, they just think I'm Risen Reef Elementals. Can I rank the colors based only on Modern? I can, I'm not going to. I don't love the, you know, top 5 list on demand spike. I ain't that good. Okay, I think with Wrenn and Six on top to recur the Boseiju, I'm pretty comfy to just cast the Fury, get really ahead on board, and then I can get like Boseiju, the Saga, they make a token, I can Wrenn and Six return Boseiju, Saga the token if I want to. I don't know if I really want to. So let's Bauble ourselves. They can stop me from looping the Boseiju if they pop the Relic, which I think is fine. Shuffle this. Channel Boseiju on the Saga. Make a token. Yeah, they might get impatient and pop the Relic in response to me casting the Wrenn and Six, and then I can ping the construct, but obviously like not playing for that to happen. Just ping the construct next turn, probably. Could you have fetched after, so fetch still after Relic pop? I needed to fetch in order to. I guess I could have just exiled the Bauble to the Relic tap. You could have done that, but I also wanted to fetch to shuffle the card away, but I guess I didn't need to do it immediately. An elegant 19 months, thank you. Target Relic first. That's kind of interesting. It's an interesting thought. Okay, win game 2 despite the accidental mulligan. Definitely feels like a reasonable matchup. They can pop the Relic and Boseiju channel. It's like, oh, that's right. Because, yeah, I've done that before. I've made that mistake before where I feel like I think of channel like a spell, and I think of the Boseiju like being on the stack, but it's not on the stack. I have to mulligan this one, though. But it goes to the graveyard first. Kind of a weird spot, right? Let's keep this. So I'm getting Zoggoth Triome. I don't have white mana if I get Zoggoth Triome, so I could put back Mountain, and I can traverse for my planes potentially. But it's on a mold to 5. Kind of another spot where Zoggoth Triome is worse than Overgrown Tomb, by the way. It's like, it feels like it mostly matters at, like, the Triome over Tomb matters most of the time where you want like a ton of blue sources against Living End and stuff. Oh, they have Urborg now. So I guess I'm getting Temple Garden. Any chance I want to hold up Unholy Heat? Not really. Not very likely. But might as well play the Flooded Strand I get. I think I'm getting Mardu Triumph here. Maybe Zoggoth. You know what? I'm actually happy if they name Flooded Strand here because there's just the Urborg in play. I think that they will if I just let this go. I think I like actively would rather than name Flooded Strand than Wrenn and Six here. They named Boseiju. Yeah, because there's the Urborg in play, so I just don't feel like fetching is correct there. Obviously, they just named Boseiju anyways, which is fine. Also, not something I really mind. I want the Soul of Windgrace pretty badly. I might just take land Soul of Windgrace. Seems pretty good. Can like grab their Saga if I want it. No racks. I'm sure that they have some number of racks to search up with Urza Saga. They're definitely playing a rack, a rack variant. It's important to, when your opponent's, playing something goofy and not try to like wrinkle your brain too much trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Makes sense out of senselessness, as my mom always likes to say. -2 Fury, +2 Omnath. I really dislike cutting any number of Furies. The Fury plays so nicely in the deck with all the card advantage spells. I think you can cut 1 Traverse for 1 Omnath. I think that would be a fine change. I was playing, my first drafts had 4 Omnaths, and I felt like I wanted to like lower the curve a lot. Yeah. Obviously, like, there's a lot of ways to build the deck. I will say my first drafts were very Omnath heavy, and I wasn't as big a fan of that as I expected to be. I also expected to want to be playing a lot of Omnaths. Sarkhan the Unbroken, you say? Now that's a hero suggestion. I'm trying to think if I have a main phase Shadow Prophecy. I think we can just wait. What made me gravitate towards Delirium, Mechanic, and Domain? Okay, it all started with wanting to brew around Deathbellow Warcry again in Pioneer. It of course started, as every brew does, with Deathbellow Warcry in Pioneer. Where I was kind of thinking that Ironcrag Feat into something to win the game seemed like kind of a reasonable spot to be in Pioneer at the moment. In the past, like, Ironcrag Feat into Deathbellow Warcry was kind of interesting. I trophied with it in the past. It was like pretty fun. And so I was kind of looking at like I was thinking, I didn't even like put it together, but I was thinking about building a list that was going to try to Ironcrag Feet, go turn 2, maybe Electromancer into Ironcrag Feet, Deathbell Warcry on turn 3. I thought that was kind of like something to think about at least. And it's kind of just taking game actions at this point. And I started thinking, okay, is there anything better? Thank you, Scott, for 35 months. Love you. I was thinking, is there anything better to Ironcrag Feet into in Pioneer than Deathbellow Warcry? And I was looking, and nothing really seemed to win the game. But I was thinking that maybe it was better to Ironcrag Feet into Emrakul instead of Deathbellow Warcry. So I put this very rough draft together. I played like one game. I didn't like it very much. I put this very rough Is It Emrakul list together that's trying to like get Delirium really quickly into Ironcrag Feet into Emrakul. And then I'm like, well, what if we were... And then I just was thinking about Shadow Prophecy, obviously, because I've been playing a lot of that card, and I'm like... that is a card that fills up the graveyard really quickly for Emrakul. Let's try that one. Yeah, no, this is real. I'm not doing a bit. This is like actually the decision tree, the thought tree. Dude, they have freaking Sudden Edict in their hand. Thankfully, I can just get it out of the hand. Yeah, and so then I started to build a deck in Pioneer, and I'm like, oh, I hate Pioneer mana bases. No, it wasn't like that. I think I had a draft even. Although I couldn't call it Domain Emrakul because I already named that in Modern. What did I call it? I think I just called it Domain. Okay, so then I stopped playing the Izzet deck because I thought it was pretty bad, and then I was like, okay, let's try to build this in Pioneer. This might be a Pioneer deck. And so I think this is like a good first draft. I'm missing obviously some spells in the main deck. I'm not sure exactly how I want to fill it out. Let's keep this. I'm going to get Mardu Triumph into Breeding Pool. Can play Binding turn 2. Was it 8 rack? I think they almost... I mean, it was maybe not... They maybe weren't playing 8 racks, but they were definitely like, discard your hand, tutor up the rack with Saga. But so I played you a bit ago. Hope it's not elves again. Well, because people mislabeled the deck in Melee. Melee, like trying to like, at least in Modern, Melee trying to like just have every archetype like pre-registered has always been so weird to me. Just let people name the deck. Yeah, this is an elves variant. Although maybe it's good for like data and stuff, huh? I don't know. Maybe I should think out my opinions. I'm gonna get Plains here, I think. Thank you, Postboard. Treats for the puppies. Yeah, they're very well treated. They're getting a little chubby, maybe. Maybe this one is. Although she was real skinny when we got her, for it was all gross. Oh, this was the Merfolk opponent. How do you feel about testing Modern Elves? Court over Coco still? Yeah, I cannot, after playtesting the deck a bunch, I cannot imagine playing the deck without 4 Chord. It is like a somewhat common sentiment. Like this, I've gotten this comment like 1,000 times. I've played Merfolk, or I've played Elves 40 hours a week since 2010, and I think Realmwalker is bad, and I think was I supposed to cast this in response? I guess so, but I'll probably just go like Upkeep Binding now. I played Elves 40 hours a week since the release, since 2012, and I think that Coco good, Chord bad, Realmwalker bad, but I found Realmwalker and Chord to be great, Realmwalker to be insane. Realmwalker plus Heritage Druid plus Nettle Sentinel is how you go through your entire deck, and you don't need to play any goofy top-end combo cards. I really liked my list a lot. I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, like, sideboard, and Chord also makes your sideboard, like, really good. Don't think I'm binding the Adept here. I think I might... They have another Adept, so maybe I'll try to set up for a Fury. My main phase is Prophecy and maybe running into some counter magic. So yeah, I think just having a land here, Prophecy on their turn is good. Thoughts on a single Ashaya in Court Elves, infinite ETPs. That's my whole philosophy is you don't need to play something goofy like Ashaya or the Defiler of whatever or Shaman of the Pack, and you don't have to make. You just get in my build. Your curve gets to be as low as possible while still being able to combo kill. And in this way, like, you're more resilient to removal because all of your cards are good in the early game and all of your cards are good if your opponent's interacting with you and you're not like having any dead draws. Palm, thank you for Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Looking for. But again, you're obviously free to disagree and build the deck how you like, but I will say this, and this is like, this is not a jab at any player in particular or at any like type of players, but I also fall victim to this too. Like, when you just like play the same deck in the same way for so long, it's like really easy for you to just like get stuck and not like have any kind of like fresh perspective, or it's really easy for you to like not think about trying the deck in a different way because you've tried it, you've been playing it the same way for so long. And I do think that fresh perspectives and perspectives from players who don't play an archetype as much can be very, very helpful to getting you know, a list improved. Okay, I guess I'm gonna Fury, see if this resolves. Hot take, elves are bad. I mean, that is like an incredibly lukewarm take, but the elves have been performing pretty well for me so far. But that is an incredibly, incredibly lukewarm take. Then I get the land back. I was just waiting to see if the Fury resolved to think a bit more about what I wanted to get back. There's no reason to make any decision first. Maybe Furying here was like unnecessary. I could have gotten like Wrenn and Six ping plus Heat also. But I kind of want to save the Heat for the Mutavaults. Do you ever think they have Spell Pierce? I don't know if I ever play around Spell Pierce here. I guess I could have waited till end step for this, but I don't think they're playing any like 1 mana elf this turn. Well, maybe that one. They just go ahead and binding it. I guess I don't hate using my mana when I have a card draw spell in hand. I could maybe be cool to the Merfolk Goddess here, but you know, praise the Merfolk Goddess, I guess. I think I can afford to fetch here. Yeah, binding is a really, really messed up card. It's really messed up. I do feel like my opponent might have a Force of Negation, although they didn't force the Wrenn. Okay. Fetch lands are, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's like fetch lands are the broken cards. Fetch lands, there's a lot of cards like on the modern ban list too that just would not be banned if it wasn't for fetch lands. And binding is like a pretty well designed card outside of the context of fetch lands for sure. Okay, let's take Traverse. Heat. Definitely need the Traverse. I might just be traversing for Fury here. I have 7 card types. Oh no, I have 7 card types, so we'll be traversing for Emrakul. Just cast it. So let me heat the Lord here. So if they force my Traverse, I've already used the mana on this. I think that makes sense because I'm not going for Fury. well, 6 mana Emrakul, the Promised End. Pretty reasonable rate for this card. Yeah, no, this card probably should, you know, I mean, obviously we built the deck around being able to cast it on 6 mana. Not 6 mana all that often though, but very good when it is. Ooh, they have Dismember. That's like so bad for them. So we get to kill all their creatures. They just draw Cavern of Souls for turn. Okay, I think what creature type should we name on Cavern of Souls? Is Gamer in the system yet? I know it's like not correct to play it, but no. Slivers, Brushwag. Brushwag's pretty good. This deals a lot of psychic damage. This deals a lot of psychic damage to our opponent here. Could be very good for the next game. Yeah, thank you for the 8 months. Appreciate you. No music today. I've never played music in the background of the stream for the 3 years I've been streaming. Never once. and also not today. Is Spike a creature type? No way. No! We're never gonna be in this position again. Oh, I should have named elves. No, I should have named elves. My opponent complained about elves last time. Oh man, this was like, I'm never gonna be in this position again. I've really blundered this. Spike Feeder, yeah. Is it creature type Spike though? It is. Oh no, that would have been so much better too. I let everybody down. Yeah, I might as well pack it in. The elves in their regard. This is lethal with a Soul of Windgrace landfall trigger, by the way. Yeah, this really backfired. We ended up rolling a natural 1 and taking psychic damage ourselves. Couldn't have gone worse. I think we're just going in 1 Engineer -1 Emrakul, click submit. Could play Charmaw against Mutavault Cavern deck. Probably costs like 3 or 4 mana most of the time. Still probably not like that crazy impactful. Tim, 3 months, thank you. Yeah, definitely a tough line to see. Brushwag was an okay name. It was maybe the 3rd best name. Yeah, no ghost accusations. If they're in chat, I encourage them to leave. I don't have any reason to suspect that they're in chat, though. Loosey goosey, huh? She is just the cutest ever. I actually think I've never been ghosted ever, even once on this channel. Confused with Caleb for some reason. Well, I do like to be confused with Caleb. I take that as a big compliment. Love Caleb. We have Plague Engineer in our hand against Merfolk. It's honestly like not, you know, it's good, but it's not 3 mana win the game like it maybe is against elves sometimes. I don't think I'm shuffling the Soul of Windgrace, but I'm mostly not shuffling it because, oh, I was probably supposed to play this. I'm mostly not shuffling because I don't want them to Spreading Seas my land here. So go Savai Triome into Breeding Pool. Scoop up the Wooded Foothills, I think. classic one land vial keep, huh? Any 1 toughness elves over there? I hope they play the new lord and I get to Plague Engineer. Well, I have an elf in play for this. I guess I can go Plague Engineer Ping potentially. We'll see what happens. Okay, do you guys want to name elves with Plague Engineer here? I might do it as a brain fart. You never know. Pretty sure I'm supposed to minus here. They could violate a lord, but if I have plus, they just pop the relic. Although maybe making them pop the relic is good. Although if they're just like going to continue to miss land drops, that's not the end of the world either. So this attack definitely means they have a lord. I'm just not going to block. Wrenn dead. Okay, so drawing this makes Leyline Binding on Aether Vial a big priority this turn. Although I think I'm going to go Traverse for a forest. This pause certainly looks like they have a Force of Negation. So maybe this isn't the line. Because I'm going to minus, and then they're going to... Okay, they're just going to force this. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. A background guy. Got time for deck tech. Always got time for deck tech. Maybe I post a link in the chat. I can take a look. Okay, so now they've got 1 card in hand. I'm just going to heat this Lord because it will kill the Adept as well. If their last 2 cards are Force blue card, good for them. Obviously would love to also binding the Vial, but I think not falling too behind on board is better. But no, also nobody in the history of Modern has ever sacrificed a relic. So why would they? They're going to draw the land right on time. Dimir, Narset. Interesting to see 4 Narsets, no Days Undoing. The first copy of Days Undoing seems like it's good. At least the first copy. Gonna violate another Lord. Let's cast Shadow Prophecy, maybe try to find Unholy Heat or Fury. How about Fury Leyline Binding? And then let's go Leyline Binding on the Vial. So if they are going to Vial on a Lord, they have to do it now. And I can go Fury, 2 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. Has felt like 1 too many fetches. Keep running out of fetchable targets. I mean, you have 11 fetchable targets. But I guess you build them over Shadow Prophecy sometimes. I don't know. You really need a you really want to have double fetch lands. Okay, don't play 4 counterspell in this list. Don't in a list that can play counterspell over remand. Don't play any number of counterspell over remand, with very few exceptions. And this is not one of those. You're gonna want if you're gonna main deck 4 Narset in Modern, you need to be playing Days Undoing. Not that I'm like a huge big crazy fan of Days Undoing Narset. I think that like no one has ever sacked a relic ever. Not that I think that this is a strategy that's like just like super good or anything, but like that would be the reason to play 4 Narset. Narset is not so good that you just want to be, in my opinion, just main decking 4. It's not really that like well positioned or anything. I also will say that in these like control decks in Modern, I think that you should not be playing both counter spells and discard spells. You need to pick one. I would not be playing any Thoughtseize, any Inquisition. But also, if I was going to play discard spells in Modern, I would play the 4 Thoughtseize before the first Inquisition. Inquisition just misses way too much. I have like Drown and Lock in these kind of shells in the past, sometimes with Thought Scour as an enabler for both Drown and Lock and Into the Story. Admittedly, I haven't played that version in a long time, or like, you know, been like high on that version in a long time, but it is something I've played in the past and liked in the past. I'm just gonna cast the Fury. Maybe a little bit of a spew, but we can probably afford to spew a little bit. Let's give Subtlety. If Subtlety, I can't get a blue source with this. Yeah. Although this is fine. I can just put the Fury on top and then Fury the Subtlety next turn. Take 4 of a hit maybe though. The one of Teferi's puzzle box on the sideboard, like again, like you got to pick a lane. If you can play all these Narsets, you play Days Undoing to combo with it. If not, you know, you don't, but you have to pick a lane here. The first copy of Murderous Cut is probably good. I would maybe even be recommending playing like 2 copies of Murderous Cut so that you can actually answer Murktide Region a bit easier, probably over these Cling to Dusts. Snapcaster Mage is not a card I would like to play without a 1-mana cantrip in the deck, although admittedly 1-mana cantrips in Modern are not, you know, most of them are not very good. Don't play the Takenuma, this mana base, in your counterspell Archmage's Charm deck. For each land in this deck that taps for black, you need that many numbers plus 1 Sunken Ruin. So right now you have 2 lands that tap for black. You would need 3 Sunken Ruins, but I think just like, you know, 1 swamp, 2 Sunken Ruins is better. I would also play no Fielded Ruins, or especially now with the Gaia Reaches with all these like color symbols. Kind of a lot of loose thoughts. I mean, Dimir Control is like also an archetype that I don't necessarily want to say has fallen out of favor, but has fallen. And I'm not sure that even with my suggestions, it's a deck I would suggest playing, but I do think that those changes would improve the deck some. Yeah, seems like you have a good Merfolk matchup, huh? I feel like thinking with Takenuma because half the time it may use as a spell. It's not a very good spell at all. 4 mana, return a Narset to your hand is really, really weak. But it also is really bad to play Takenuma in your counterspell Archmage's Charm deck. You're a dev signing up for pain as long as 4-color Yorion exists. This version, I played it one time last night only, but it crushed it. The Emrakuls are really good against the 4-color Yorion deck. They like you also always get to Emrakul them because their clock is so slow, and you play 2 Emrakuls in the main deck. So if they solitude the first one, you have a second one to like finish the job, and a third one post board. In fact, that's kind of the idea here. Is this variant of like the 4 or 5 color soup deck is good against the Yorion version, while also, you know, having better access to sideboard cards too. Cool. Easy keep. I think this prediction is for this league, right? Maybe a mod can figure it out. I can't remember. Zaggoth Triome seems fine. I can get a Plains off this Flooded Strand. Assuming I get it back with the Wrenn. What was match 2 against? This has been a really weird league. We played against like Blue Moon into 8-Rack into Merfolk. Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I think that one was from the dropped league. So we'll set up a new prediction after this match. Okay, just draw the planes. Blue Moon can be deck still. It looked really bad for one you can register Blue Moon, but I will say it didn't look like it was like super. It didn't look like it was back. That's all I'll say about that. But it was also playing Field of Ruin, which is like I just like don't play Field of Ruin in your Blood Moon deck, and it was Through the Breach Blood Moon, which is also never a plan I've liked very much because in theory the Through the Breach plan gives you a lot of equity against like those big mana matchups that Blood Moon does, and like you're just like your curve is way too high and is goofy. But I digress. Yeah, Wrenn is super messed up. Looks like we're up against Creativity. I played Creativity once or twice last night. I definitely beat one Creativity player during my trophy run. Mingu mentioned binding is hurting Murktide decks hard and such a clean answer to Murktide. I absolutely agree with that. Predictions for this league? No, I think we started that prediction last time. I'm like 99% sure the more I'm thinking about it. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be wrong. I don't love shocking here, but I think I have to. I have to get a white source, so it's either Sacred Foundry or Temple Garden. I think Sacred Foundry here. I guess I could have just also just played Plains and not Return to Land. How on Earth the Prophecy into Bliss? Prophecy is really good here. It helps, it like fuels your graveyard for Emrakul, and like it lets your curve be super duper low, which is really nice too. And so you just get a lot of card advantage in selection with a low curve and powerful late game finish. Do you feel like this deck can sometimes take too much damage? Yeah, it can. You have some life gain with Soul and Omnath, but it's also like I'm comfortable fetch shocking here because we're up against Creativity. You know, it's not a deck that I need my life total to be super high end. Please don't have double Spell Pierce. That would be against the Geneva Convention. Burn seems super strong in the meta. Burn is like good, yeah. It's actually been seeing a lot of play, I feel, or like I've been playing against it a lot, I should say. Okay, so heat this. I think we're gonna minus on the token and then go Soul of Windgrace with Leyline Binding up. Although we'll bobble ourselves now. I would really prefer not to have to ping this. I'll keep the heat too. But just the ability to... Oh, wait, hold on. If I play the Plains, I'm only holding a Binding. That's fine, that's fine. I can just hold up Binding. I just can't let them have two creatures. Oh, discard 2 Archons. That's huge. And then Soul doesn't die like any of their removal besides like Teferi Bounce, Archon Edict, but doesn't die to Bolt. They don't usually play Heat. But if I give them 2, if I let the token live, they can Creativity on 2, and I can't really stop it. Thought about other enchantment artifacts or planeswalkers. Am I worth playing for? I have a pretty good split of like diversity of card types. I think obviously you could change some things, but I did spend a lot of time on the list, and I spent a lot of time thinking about that too. Not saying what I have is perfect though, but if you have more specific questions or thoughts, we can talk about it. We're playing fair Emrakul here just by ramping with Windgrace and Wrenn and Six. Emrakul the Promised End, yeah. We also like, you know, both of our Shadow Prophecies got countered, but you fill up your graveyard of types pretty quickly. And so you can cast Emrakul for like 6 mana here. So hand that for sure. Then I think I'm going to go bottom Heath, exile Wrenn, and go ping ping. Not the most powerful line, but not every line has to be the most powerful. They have both Heat and Binding up. And I think we just get back their Arid Mesa and probably plan to fetch up Triome here. I could potentially Boseiju if I wanted to. Yeah, I could get Temple Garden and Boseiju their Fable this turn. I think I actually like that. Doing their upkeep. The one that's about to flip, I think I hit. No tribal types on account of tribal types all stinking. So I have 5 types in my graveyard, which means I can Emrakul next turn. In this list, you don't use Soul's abilities as often. I mean, obviously this is just a 1 of 2, but you don't use it as often as you do in like the Jund Saga deck. You give them Dwarven Might? Yeah, maybe that's not as good, huh? Although with 2 removal spells up, and they've already used 2 Spell Pierces, they only have 2 Archons in the deck. I bet we'll be okay. Have the sideboards cut up to binding yet? I mean, the thing is, it's like, I don't know, like if you're sideboarding enchantment removal for binding, it's obviously good against it, but you know, if you're spending like 2 mana to answer a binding, which like most enchantment removal is 2 mana, there's like only Nature's Claim is the only 1 mana removal spell that answers it. If you're spending 2 mana to answer it, it's like not that good of an exchange for you. And because like, you know, you're spending 2 mana to answer a 1 mana permanent, or it's certainly not bad, but it's also not like this great exchange either. Wear Tear. Oh, there's Wear Tear. That's true. Wear Tear. And like when you Boseiju a Leyline Binding, it's like you spend 2 mana to answer it, answer 1 mana permanent, and you give them a land. Yeah, Wear Tear is a good answer, but I mean Wear Tear is also like already a good sideboard card. Oh, do I have I might actually not have an untapped fetchable here. I think I do. So we can Emrakul. Attack first. It's got to be right to Emrakul here, I think. Who cares? I don't know, because if they top deck creativity, it could get kind of dicey, but we should be fine. Could have sacked the treasure. 2 creativities. So flip this Saga. So you have how much mana? 8. So we have enough mana to fetch Shock. They're playing 4 Binding. They're playing 2 Persist, 1 Shadow Prophecy. Yeah, I'm gonna be casting them both on my own things. Although most likely just hit another Bauble. I could hit an Omnath or a Bauble, right? That's it. Or Fury. Fury would be really nice. Cool. Probably some combination of draws we lose too. Could have cast 1 on Treasure Fizzled. Yeah, I think I kind of like trying to spin for Fury here though. They must have drawn another creativity if they're not conceding though. Ice. Okay, trying to cantrip into it. Okay, no. Cool game. No, you can't creativity for 0. It actually came up yesterday. I played the match yesterday. So bringing in the 1 mana counter spells, cutting. I think I left in 1 Fury as a traverse target yesterday. I wanted 2 Emrakuls, I think. Then I ended up cutting an iteration on the draw because it's kind of hard to tap out for sometimes on turn 3. And then I think I wanted to cut either like 1 Heat or 1 Binding. But these cards are both pretty good. But I think I'll cut 1 Heat. It's like a lot of this kind of effect of the matchup. I think Engineer for Dwarf is a bit too narrow, especially because they have a lot of answers to Engineer. Yeah, Promisins are really expensive. I don't own any. I don't own any. I might have to buy some or borrow some for a tournament. Yeah, some people play. I mean, creativity into Emrakul to Aeon's Torn is like, you know, was pretty common. It just doesn't stabilize as well as Archon does. I usually cut Bauble when I'm bringing in Chalice on 0, but that's I think the only time or the main time. I don't love this hand. I think I will keep. I think I'll put back Heat. I'll keep this on 6. I'll probably mold this on 7. Top card, Expressive Iteration. Don't really think I can afford to draw that. Maybe we should play Temple Garden, though. Don't have a swamp to traverse for either. Yeah, Emrakul seems like a really good EDH card. If you're ever confused on why a card is expensive, it's like, it's always EDH. Oh no, Temple Garden, that's the same number of domain types. Worth boarding, Chalice on 3. I mean, I've got 3 drops, but Chalice on 3 that costs 6 mana. You know, it also doesn't stop creativity. You know? Okay, so we'll get the Mardu Triome. EDH is just one ofs. EDH is one ofs, but EDH being like 10 times more popular than Modern is, makes demand like, what, like 2.5 times, assuming 10 times more, which is probably about accurate. Yeah, being colorless has higher demand too. No way. Okay, so I'm definitely going to Leyline Binding Wrenn and Six, and then I have Delirium for Surgery, and they know my hand. They know my hand, so they're like, if they have creativity here, they're so likely to just tap out for it, right? And we would get to obviously Surgical. The creativity should be huge. Obviously, they might not have it. They might still want to play around this, but that would be awesome if they just slam. I feel like if they have it, they're like, it's just so hard to play around me having top deck Surgery. If they do have it, they're playing around it here. Let me play Wooded Foothills so that they can't ice my island. Should doing EDH content more money? I would 100% make less money if I started doing EDH content right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you have to like build a community and a content brand over time. I would 100% like take an incredible decrease to my money right now if I was to switch to EDH. Yeah, I'm also not sure that EDH content itself is super profitable. Like, I imagine, some of the bigger ones do fine, but it's like it's a lot more casual than this, right? I like the nitpicking nerds. I watch them. Yeah, I agree. It's probably a little oversaturated. Makes sense. Rough Spell Pierce. I kind of feel like we have to run into it, but maybe we could have found a way around that. I guess I cracked the Bauble now. I want to be able to draw Prophecy or Binding. They have another Binding, though. Although they're shuffling it. Am I just cycling Dress down here? Yeah, we have Delirium. So they have another Spell Pierce. That's important to note. They have a Leyline Binding, an Archon of Cruelty, and a Persist. They'll be able to hardcast that Archon of Cruelty next turn, so I think I should probably save the Dress Down to counter the ETB. Certainly very, very behind on cards here, but that was a nice swing in our favor, I think. Another land is so bad, but we are also like getting pretty close to just being able to top deck Emrakul, I guess. Oh, Pierce Stone Creativity, that was a pretty good line. Probably not in the range of like most players' lines though. Are they casting next turn? Oh, I thought they had one more mana in play than they had. Yeah, sorry, I thought they had one more land. Could die to Dwarven beat down. Okay, I think I'm supposed to plus the Wrenn and Six here, since that's going to allow me to cast Emrakul if I top deck it. Don't mind, you know, the binding here either. Oh, they're also getting really close to ultimating their Wrenn and Six. Yeah, I feel like I think we have like 2 looks at an Emrakul between the Dress Down and our Draw Step. Not even sure like Emrakul's good enough because I can't attack the Archon into the Emrakul. Yeah, I guess a Emblem isn't super scary. I mean, they have like Prismari commands in the deck. Okay, I guess I have to cycle the Dress Down now because they're not going for the Hardcast Archon. Draw another land, and then my only chance is top decking Emrakul. I don't think Traverse. I have enough mana. They could Spell Pierce Traverse too. They might like mess up if they do that though. Turns out Engineer would have been okay. I mean, like, are we playing Engineer for Dress Down? Are we playing Engineer for any of these lands? Because I just always find it really amusing when chat's like, ooh, this card that is so situational would be really good if it was teleported to our hand right now. You know what I mean? Ooh, they're going to ice me, so even if I top deck Emrakul? Okay, no. I think I'm going to concede. Go to game 3. But like most 3-mana cards would be pretty good if teleported to our hand. And I think we have a Fury for the, you know, the answering of the tokens. I think on the play, I want the 4th iteration. I think I can cut the 3rd Heat on the play. Or maybe Heat is better than Binding because they have their own bindings. I'm not sure. Binding comes online faster, but let's try this. I think that this makes some sense to me. Okay, we can keep this. We can go Breeding Pool, Traverse for Mountain. I bring in the 3rd Promised End against like 4-color Omnath and blue-white control specifically, but like yeah, just like a sideboard card for 4-color Omnath mostly. Yeah, I agree that Fury is one of the best cards in the deck. It's really hard to like cut any copies of it. It's also like you have some sideboard cards I think that like Chalice makes you lose Gigantha, Charmaw makes you lose Gigantha. So Gigantha obviously loses stock post board. Hoping not to get Spell Pierce, but I guess I have Iteration for turn 3 if they pierce my Wrenn. Plague Engineer is better for Fury sub tokens. Yeah, but Fury kills like Wrenn and Six on turn 2. Definitely feeling the lack of an untapped swamp here. They have their own Wrenn, which I think I'm pretty likely to Fury. We'll see what happens. Can also Leyline Binding this turn, but I really want to get a tapped black source. Okay, now I just have a perfect card to pitch. Let me also cast this Iteration, I think. What I'm mostly looking for in this spot a counter spell to hold in hand. I get Savai Triome, I think. Pick up the Flooded Strand, Fury, the Wrenn and Six. So if they don't have Fable this turn, I'm feeling pretty good. If they do have Fable, it's not the end of the world either, obviously. They do have the Fable. Could go double Wrenn and Six ping. I don't know. I'm not sure. Shadow Prophecy or get the Wrenn and Six ticking up. I really hope this Prophecy resolves. They didn't have Spell Pierce on turn 1, which obviously makes it more likely the Shadow Prophecy is going to resolve. But like digging for a counter spell and potentially filling up our graveyard for Wrenn and Six is really nice. We're currently missing Planeswalker creature enchantment, which are like, you know, harder, especially when we're cutting all the Furies, harder to make this Emrakul just 6 mana, I guess. Opponent discards Arid Mesa Fire Ice. Cast response. We have to hold up Binding, so they can't creativity here. We can't we have to just do this end of turn. Although we can respond to Thoughtseize because now they can't creativity. But they found a counterspell, and we'll see how the dust settles. They take the Binding. I'll have 5 types. I think Binding puts too much pressure on Reclamation decks. I mean, Binding is definitely like way worse for Reclamation decks, but Binding is bad for decks that play non-land permanents, you know what I mean? But I think that Reclamation is probably pretty good, you know, inherently against most decks that play Leyline Binding. They take Binding. So with the fetch zone, I'm gonna have 5 types in the yard. With Wrenn and Six dies, that's 6. Potentially gonna be setting up for an Emrakul in 2 turns. Put in Shocks and Stevens, acting like they found another counterspell in 2 cards, or potentially another Fire Ice. I don't really care about Fire Ice here. With this upkeep stop, it does look like Fire Ice. Hoping to draw a relevant spell, and oh baby, is that a relevant spell? Lazy Titan, think of the 7 months. Should we have... We already have Delirium here, so we don't need to keep a land in the yard right now for Delirium. We can get a land in the yard when we need it. That was probably the best top deck, yeah. Although I think I have to do this. I need to keep my Emrakul in the hand. Maybe they have land creativity. We're about to find out, I guess. They don't. They have Leyline Binding, though. And another Fable. No more Thoughtseizes. Shouldn't you fetch other lands to hope and draw and cycle at this point? Maybe, yeah. I always feel like I just don't do that aggressively, but it's also true. I feel like you don't cycle Triumphs that often, but maybe more often than I act like also. Lavamancer, think of the 7 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, we probably should have got a different land. I agree. But also, like, fetching the Triome this early, it kind of looks like we don't have anything to, which has some value as well. I might Binding my opponents. I might go Wrenn and Six Ping Reflection, or the token, and then Ping again, and then I have Planeswalker in the yard, and that's going to be 6 total types that I can Emrakul next turn. I think that's got to be the line. Although I guess I'll target this Shaman because they don't have anything to copy at the moment. So assuming I counted correctly, which I'm not known to be the best counter, I guess. 6. Yeah, 7, yeah. We'll have enough for Emrakul. So we need to fade them drawing creativity. They drew Spell Pierce return, looted away. Fun match. Yes, Surgery costs 1 mana, Test of Talents costs 2. The difference between 1 and 2 mana is huge. Someone's at the door. Let me check if it's just like a package or something. I don't think we're expecting anybody. Looks like somebody selling something, so I will not be going. Although Lucy is happy to go say hi. You used to be able to look at your opponent's sideboard when Emrakuling them. You can't anymore. Can't anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure what my opponent is thinking about. Ooh, Prismari Command. Yeah, I guess makes sense. Shocks me, makes a treasure. So we can go fire, kill this Fable token, attack with the reflection. I love when the Emrakul turns are just really easy. I should probably be taking a little bit more time, but I can't imagine I do anything besides just sack the treasure, fire the reflection, block here. Yeah, there's just nothing else to do. And now they can't creativity me next turn. There's no Archon in the yard. Okay, 4-0, 4-0. Showed you the deck last night. Let's get a trophy prediction going. So we have turn 2 Wrenn and Six. We don't have a fetch land. We're missing blue. I think I just mulligan. This deck mulligans really well. Yeah, look at this hand. Look at this hand. I'm gonna put back Basic Mountain, I think. I've been following the Twitch drama. I mean, dude, I've been trying to insert myself into the Twitch drama so badly. I've been sending Hassan and XQC and Pokimane thousands of deranged messages, and I've just been met with radio silence so far. It's very unfair. Doing anything I can to get a piece of this sweet, sweet, juicy drama. I even messaged Doomwake to see if we could start up some fake beef, and he said, no, Spike. You're drunk again. Ooh, flagstones. Cool. I feel in danger. I feel like I'm in danger. Did you use many slurs? Ah, slurs! That's how we could have gotten into the drama. It's all so simple. No, I'm not really interested in all the Twitch drama stuff. That is one nice thing about being a Magic streamer. It does feel like you're kind of like isolated from all that stuff. I almost definitely not playing Blood Moon if they're on this package, right? Bolts ran. Bolts went. Oh, we're gonna steal flagstones? I guess I don't know why I would, but it seems kind of funny. Is that a good enough reason? Not when we're playing for a trophy, I guess. Oh no, I misclicked. I didn't mean to take the flagstones. All right, we have a flagstones now. Their graveyard popped out like in front of mine. You saw that, right? Like I went over and just popped in front of it. What was I to do? What was I to do? So white, green, red, blue. Nothing I could have done. Couldn't have played around it. I will Fury their Fury though. Feeling okay about her spot. Dead Fury. Put 4 cards in hand. Discards Pillage, Sacred Foundry. Plays Cat, so it's just the Lieber and Taxes deck. So I can go Traverse for a fetch land, right? 5, 6, 10, yeah. Looks like I have enough. It's a Dark Ritual. Or better than a Dark Ritual. It's a Black Lotus. Ooh, they've got land destruction. I can blow up their own lands. Yep. So, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Seasoned Pyromancer, Mana Tithe, the Seasoned Pyromancer. Dude, oh, no way! No way! I get to boom bust my flagstones! I get to boom bust my flagstones! How did this end up working out? We saw the line. We saw the line. Amazing. Oh, man, that's awesome. It ended up being better. Magic is a fun game, huh? It's a fun game. I can't believe it ended up being better to take the flagstones. Yeah, maybe just casting Bust was better. I mean, both lines seem fine. Because it means, you know, both lines I feel like won the game, huh? Flusterstorm, Invasive Surgery seems good against their land destruction spells. That does seem like their main way that they're going to get us. I think I'm interested in probably cutting. I mean, just they're playing Season Pyromancer, but I don't know if I'll play like one Dress Down, I guess. I feel like their deck doesn't play Ragavan. It probably should play Ragavan. I feel like they just don't. So I kind of want to cut the heats. I'll trim like one heat, one shadow, one iteration, one fury. Easy peasy. Yeah, wasn't necessarily expecting to. This has been like a really weird league. Just like, what was it? Blue Moon Breach into 8-rack into Merfolk into Creativity, which is a good deck, into Black White Boom Bust. I guess Fury is another point for Dress Down. Yeah, I'm also just like not too scared of it, but maybe I should be. You will be. Okay, so I'm just gonna fetch that Steam Vince into play untapped, so I can counter Boom Bust, Wildfire. Whenever someone asks me what I have Invasive Surgery in the sideboard for now, I'm just going to tell them it's for the Boom Bust matchups. And I guess I'll get Mana Tithe. You can Mana Tithe me. Oh, okay, cool. Their deck almost never plays Blood Moon, I think, so I'm just not going to worry about it too much. Fetching into Boom Bust deck. I was wanting to Surgery the Boom Bust. I didn't want to draw my land. I didn't want to draw. I needed not. I needed to not draw a Steam Vince when I'm already so flooded. I was like, Grixis Shell, they kept killing my lands. Yeah, the the deck is definitely a special one. Discards Wrath of God and Prismatic Ending. 2 cards I'm kind of happy to see post board, to be honest. Why don't I just go Evoke a Fury? This is going to be another type in the yard. And then get a Mardu Triome. Hold up a counter spell for a land destruction spell. Is it the red-white Cracked Earth deck? The Lurrus ban was really tough for that deck. It was really like leaning on Lurrus. You spin. Ooh, no way! Dude, this is not fair. Soul of Windgrace against the Boom Bust deck. What will Modern Horizons 2 do next, huh? Has Modern Horizons 2 finally gone too far with printing Soul of Windgrace? Well, think of the poor red-white land destruction players. Think of the poor red-white land destruction players. Opponents looking at their hand of 6 pillages. They're currently 4-0. Yeah, I mean, it pops up. It 5-0s every once in a while. This is just a silly, ridiculous matchup for the 5-0. Hey, Lucy. You hear that smacking? That's Lucy's tail hitting the door because it's wagging. It's always wagging. Yeah. It's hitting the chair now. You said that a Pioneer version deck. Could I show it working? I showed it earlier. I guess my opponent's tanking. It's not done. It's not finished. It's pretty similar to... I saw like Titty Pills was working on it. This other Pioneer player, Lizzie's working on like this kind of archetype too. I thought that Shadow Prophecy Emrakul would be a good addition, but Could this rainbow deck be the solution for the format? I hope. Solutions to modern usually are bad for the format, but I do think the deck is good. What can I say? The old Path to Exile land destruction deck. Iteration first. Okay, I guess we'll just go hand bottom exile, and doesn't seem too bad to just cast this. Get mounted off the Wooded Foothills. So maybe get Temple Garden here. So yeah, the idea behind this deck is it's actually pretty good against 4-color Omnath. I've only played the matchup once, but I crushed them. But just like the fact that you always get to Emrakul them, their clock is just not fast enough. You have 3 Emrakuls post board. The matchup's pretty good. Ooh, they get to ping the Wrenn. That means this game is just still very ahead. Well, I guess fetch Shocking here to Shadow Prophecy is probably not correct. Bolt's Fury, okay. Whoa, you see the lag? Wooded Foothills dragging across the screen there. Wait, this says Lord Windgrace, grant me wisdom. That's awesome. Maybe the stream dies, huh? Ooh. So maybe I do need to cast the Shadow Prophecy so I don't die to the Fury. They can also might Mana Tithe my Shadow Prophecy. I'll play around Mana Tithe, actually. Don't think I'm cycling the lands this game. I could brick. Okay, don't brick. Do I ever cast Iteration here? I guess why not? Well, can't hold up the surgeries, why not? They like randomly have Ephemerate. I want them to do that on their turn also. They only have 1 card left. It's gotta be a land destruction spell, right? It's gotta be. Oh, they also have a Spyro in the yard. I can't forget about that. I only have 5 types in the yard. I have 11 cards in the yard. Only 5 types. Good enough for an Emrakul, though. I think I have to play this to hold up the surgery. If I don't, it doesn't really matter, but yeah. Lightning Bolt last card, pretty scary. Oh, don't make the tokens. Don't make the tokens. I'm going to attack the token in Emrakul. Not that it matters a ton, I guess. Let's get the ping. Okay, big draw. I mean, if I cast Bust here, they get to keep 3 of their lands. I guess 2 because I would fail to find. Think of the content, though, if I cast this. Think of the content. It's just, like, not correct, so... Let's not, right? We're playing for the trophy. I know it'd be so cool, but, like... If my opponent didn't have, like, 2 indestructible lands, I would be down. Yeah, there's play points on the line. If they had, like, 1 indestructible land, I'd do it. I'll never get the chance again, though. I probably didn't need... Oh, no, they targeted the Triome. I could have cycled the Triome. I'm just, like, so itching to fire that off, I guess. Okay, we'll get our Omnath, get a bunch of life. Am I playing into Wrath of God too much? I guess. We saw at least 1 Wrath of God in the deck. Okay, that'll probably be good enough to beat the Wrath. So I'll play this so that I can cast Shadow Prophecy too if they do Wrath me. I think. I don't know. They Wrath and then they Wrath again after I Emrakul. It's still like ping them 6 times with the Wrenn and Six, I guess. Okay. 5-0, awesome. 5-0 with the deck last night. 5-0 today. We did have like a 1-2 drop then a 3-2, but pretty good overall. That's what 15, 16, 16 and 3? No, 16 and 4. It was very good. Ooh, Mana Drain. Misty Rainforest, not much else. I'll probably play this in the challenge tomorrow.